Hare Krishna, the Lord be with you. So today I'm going to talk about my reading this morning on Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 14, text 10 through 11. It's a reading I've been working on over a couple of days. I wanted to do a broadcast earlier in the week yesterday and trying to do one a day, but I've been kind of busy over the week, unfortunately, so please, I hope I haven't offended you, the very few of you that may be watching. So, first of all, the Srimad Bhagavatam reading is still talking about Yudhishthira still feeling anxious about the disappearance of Krishna. He doesn't know where Krishna is at. So he's noticing all these omens. And the first text, text 10, was comparing someone that was very strong, had the strength of a tiger, and that they were kind of like feeling some fear, if I'm not mistaken. So basically that had to do with, he kind of knew that, without God, without the Lord, without Krishna, we're basically helpless because we're under this influence of the material energy, and there's nothing we could do about it. We'll try very hard to overcome some of these calamities. A lot of people that have addictions, that have just any kind of problems, the health problems, whatever they may be, all our attempts are futile unless we surrender into God. Just like Srila Prabhupada explains to us in his Bhagavad Gita, as it is in the 7th chapter, where he says that Krishna says, "This divine energy of mine, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it." So Krishna has given us this boat because we're just in this ocean of misery. This entire material existence is complete misery. Some of us may have what we believe are fortunes or a good life, but deep down inside we know that that's not fulfilling us. And you can look at some of the celebrities today in life. They look like they have it all on the outside, and we wonder why are these people committing suicide? Why are they, someone was telling me the other day that some lady that does race car driving, she passed away in a car accident. So she's looking for some type of thrill, some type of high, and very dangerously, driving these cars over 600 miles an hour or something of that nature. And so we're just trying to find this happiness that we can only find in Krishna or God. So, and we spend so much time, doing these things. Some people, they make a hobby out of it, which might sound like something positive, but we should really be making a hobby. Our only business should be learning about God, learning how to please God. Then our life will truly be successful. Back to the spending too much time, on our body. I was thinking, the other day, today, as a matter of fact, this morning, I see these guys that where I live at, and they're just very muscular, and they have spent countless hours in the gym, spending countless amounts of dollars on supplements, on like creatine and this pre-workout stuff, and God knows what. Now they spend so much money on that, so much time, and eventually the body is going to decay. You never know what's going to happen. You can just walk outside of your door and something can happen, unfortunately, like in Odessa, and there's nothing you can do to stop that. The only thing we could do is have faith in God and surrender to Him, offer Him service. Say, God, I'm yours. Do with me what you will. Like Jesus taught. Into your hands I commend my spirit, not my body, my spirit. We are spirits, the spirit soul. Today I was out walking around the Riverwalk, and there's some people. There's a new charity, usually where the PETA people are at, on La Soya and Commerce. And so I went to go talk to them, and they're trying to accept money for they're sponsoring families in third world countries. So I asked a little bit more about the, what they actually do, and they told me that. And for like only $35 a month, I thought maybe a day. I wrote down here in my notes a day, but $35 a month, they can feed someone. But you feed someone for a few months, what's that gonna do? Feed them for a year, what's that gonna do? Okay, they'll grow up strong, have education. What kind of education are we giving these children? What they really need is they need food for their soul, real soul food. They need Krishna or God. But who's doing that? Sure, they might go out and maybe crack a Bible open for them and show them the goodness of God. I think maybe this organization was what's the word? Is it secular? I always mistake it. Non-secular. So what is $35? They told me they're just going to help one person at a time. I was like, how many people do you plan on helping? There's 75% of the world lives in poverty, and so these attempts are futile. If anything, we should be going out, first of all, love ourselves enough to love God. And when we do that, then we'll see the generosity. Then we'll see this more than $35 a month. That's nothing. That's like they say, it's a cup of McDonald's coffee a day. We could give more than that, give our time to spread the word. Talk to your neighbor, talk to your friends, tell them about God, talk about God. We constantly talking about God. I know some people, they get sick of it, but hey, you tried, that's something. Something is better than nothing. This hasn't been going on just recently, it's been going on for the same time, as far as taking care of the body. If you remember, like I think I remember, if I'm not mistaken, the conquistadors were looking for this fountain of youth, and even, what was that, 300 years ago, 500 years ago, they're looking for something that you can't have. They don't realize this science, the spiritual science that talks about the nature of the body and the soul. The body is very temporary. The lifespan, I think, of the average person in that time was maybe 50, 60 years. Now 70, 80, we're trying to live past 90, past 100, and but generally most of the people that live to that age, they're in terrible shape. It's a miserable life. Toward the end, it's very, very horrible. I spoke to a gentleman this morning, and he told me he wants to die. He's waiting to die. I'm like, oh my God, like, why? It can't be that bad. It cannot be that bad. So then in the second text, the Srimad Bhagavadam, 14th chapter, text 11, Srila Prabhupada compares this material existence to like a forest fire. And it kind of brings it home if we think about the forest fire that, occurred, like a week ago in Brazil. The lungs of the earth is making big news. The lungs of the earth, what can we do, these things, this fire more than likely, I think they said it happened by clearing land or something like that. But generally forest fires are caused by nature, or some small spark, but they can only be extinguished by, the mercy of the Lord, and it's only by His grace that, we are saved, that we can be saved. So, just think to yourself today, what can we do to enlighten someone else, to save them from this forest fire of material existence? Sometimes just a hello, I struck a conversation today with several people, and maybe they've never been talking to, and maybe they don't feel good about themselves, and I try to at least make a time or two, person feel a little bit good about themselves. You know, I offer a lot of compliments. It doesn't cost anything. It just costs a little bit of your time, a little small fraction of your time, to make someone, you know, happy or just feel better in themselves. And most of all, talk about God. You know, talk about, you know, I got some literature here the other day at the church. I was running kind of low. I'm trying to disperse a lot of stuff that's kind of out of date, but still it's timeless. You know, even though it has a date on there, you can still read it whenever you want to. Just crack it open, and it's something. You know, it's better than you know, like watching what's happening to whatever, you know, calamities in the news. These things are just always going to happen. You know, the bad news after bad news. You know, just story after story. Like, let's focus on God. You know, if we all focused on God, just think of the greatness that can occur. You'll be happy. We'll finally please Him, and then we'll see all auspiciousness and all happiness. Thank you very much for watching. If you watched to the end, if you watched a little bit, still thank you. I hope I hit home with this, and I hope I inspire you to at least talk to one person about God. Hare Krishna.